Megalopolis. This might be the worst but most bafflingly entertaining film this year, nay, this decade. The first words out of my mouth when the credits rolled on Megalopolis were, "That was utter nonsense." I've never seen such a fully qualified cinematic car crash. It's everything that should and shouldn't be happening in modern cinema, wrapped in a dizzying and preposterous story. Very quickly, over 97% of you watching are not subscribed, so if you'd like to be notified of my next review, it only takes a second to click subscribe. Megalopolis will be many things to many people because it's so saturated in iconography and could be read in so many different ways. I can totally see why this was such a passion project for Coppola. The foundation of this story poses some really poignant questions about humanity. Plays for power, the blindness of an older generation, and two sides of a new generation trying to prove itself, one for a brighter future, the other for partying and anarchy. It's the kind of larger world thinking and idealistic proposition for the future that should, on paper, make for an enjoyable cinematic experience. Some of what is shown is dazzling, original, and at times quietly genius in composition. It is also no surprise to find that Coppola was inspired by Metropolis, a 1920 silent film that too poses questions about humanity's future, and a film I really like. But a wild and original concept does not guarantee a good movie, and what I watched, for the most part, was pretty terrible. 10 minutes in, it was apparent that this was off-the-rails, free-flowing filmmaking, but not in a good way, with wild overacting, bizarre editing choices, and scenarios that just baffled me every which way. I physically grimaced at many editing choices, line deliveries, and scenarios. I don't ever mind high concept. I love challenging films, but when it's delivered with such inconsistent performances, visuals, and world building that at times feels like a TV movie, being original doesn't mean you get a pass. One of the earlier scenes that's mind-blowingly awful is in the model room scene, where actors flounce about in the most random way and deliver lines like they were doing Shakespeare in high school. Adam Driver has to chew his way through the monologue from Hamlet, and it just comes off as preening pretentiousness of the highest order. I honestly thought whilst watching this scene, it felt like Shakespeare, directed by Tommy Wiseau. If you don't know who that is, go and look up 2003's The Room. It's the worst, most unintentionally hilarious film ever.
It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
I laughed so hard at so many moments played in earnest or utterly baffling creative choices in Megalopolis that I can't help but draw this comparison. The acting almost throughout Megalopolis is bizarrely off, like being stuck in some weird dream where nothing quite makes sense and people behave so erratically. Supreme case in point is Shia LaBeouf, who honestly expertly plays an incredibly annoying character. He suits the role, so gets points from me, but geez, this character is just so embarrassingly awful. It's like Coppola went, here's the script, or lack thereof, off you go, and Shia just decided to go off on one. I'd like to point out that Aubrey Plaza gets out of this seemingly unscathed, as I feel like she's in on the joke here. She plays this character up so well and is magnetic in her performance, albeit a really, really silly one, as a character called Wow Platinum. Jon Voight is also in this and just seems like a rabbit in headlights, or like he just woke up. He's just here and barely hanging on. You'll also see a use of props like you've never seen before. Just weird actions by actors that look like they're overdoing every single maneuver, like in a silent movie or a theatre, which kind of makes me think, was this the point of it? Is this some kind of homage to the silent era? Because maybe they should have taken that concept the whole hog, as so many of the words spoken in this are just dreadful. Like Laurence Fishburne's character narrates sections of the film, for what reason I don't know, but the narration is full of such overgobbled tripe I couldn't pick up what it was adding or even building on. So much is said and it plays as if it's fiercely more clever than you'll ever be, but I doubt it. I recently reviewed Kinds of Kindness and said this same thing. There might be some much deeper meaning to discover here, but is the investment of time to re-watch it worth it to discover it? I don't think so in this case. I get the cinephile argument on this being good. I studied film and I understand when a filmmaker looks to challenge their audience, but I've seen way better by arguably lesser directors. Coppola, in my opinion, is just off here, and this film, although being a miracle that it even exists, is the snobbiest, most stuck-up-its-arse claptrap I've seen in a long time. As the story continued, I thought this was starting to settle down, and there were several moments in the film where, in brief glimpses, I thought this might be getting to some point of clarity or consistency. The second I thought that, the film would veer off on another wild tangent. There are so many little plot points in this that offer no substance in the end. Case in point, Adam Driver's Caesar can stop time at will, and it's the first thing we're shown, but does it have a meaningful impact on the film? Nope. It's brought up a couple more times, but absolutely impacts nothing. This world of New Rome is just New York, and barely an effort has gone into making you feel like this might be something more. Scenes on streets look like made-for-TV movies, given the lack of style or intrigue, which clash with the moments of interesting world building, but then even that is let down by the inconsistency in graphics. Some of the CGI here is dazzling and original, but some of it is honestly the worst I've seen in recent memory. Megalopolis feels like a film reaching for the stars, but gets so caught up in trying to cram in interesting ideas that it loses its grip on the core meaning that could have easily had me entranced. There's a really great film in here, and as I said at the start, it contains what should and shouldn't be happening in modern cinema. It should have originality and new works of art, and Megalopolis is it, but it doesn't need vanity projects that are wildly inconsistent and full of preening pretentiousness. And that's it for Megalopolis. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and say hello in the comments below, or try one of these videos next. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.